On the air and streaming live on your favorite device, this is KATC TV3, Acadiana's news channel at 10.
Thanks for joining us for Acadiana's news channel at 10 o'clock. I'm Jim Hummel.
And I'm Marcel Fontenot. Tonight, a new study reveals Hispanics in Louisiana are the largest group in the U.S. with unmet mental health needs.
Other minorities face similar issues, and some local experts are saying it all comes down to representation. Victor Georges spoke to two minority counselors about what can be done to help out.
One of the counselors I spoke to today tells me people seeking mental health care will often feel better when the person helping them navigate their issues either looks or sounds like them.
So anytime you have a lack of representation, it's going to equivalent to, being a lack of trust.
He tells me he's proud to be one of the only black male counselors in Iberia Parish. His practice, Believe Iberia, has been open for about a month, and he says the majority of his clients are black. The American Psychiatry Association says only 1 in 3 African Americans who need mental health care receives it.
The quote are saying, what goes on in this house stays in this house. We also have a prideful identity culture, take pride in being resilient.
Similarly, Chicano counselor Maria Mica East tells me many immigrants tend to function at a basic level to make ends meet and don't always focus on their mental health.
They operate in a survival mode. And when you're in your survival mode, it's normalized to feel anxious all the time. And so anxiety is very common.
A study shows 17.4% of Hispanics in Louisiana report having unmet mental health needs, which is the highest in the nation.
I believe that a lot of it is privacy and not wanting to be deemed as crazy. I often hear people keeping things to themselves and for fear of not really being deemed as, so to speak, loco, like crazy.
Both counselors hoping to bridge the gap between people of color needing mental health care in Acadiana and getting those resources to them. I'm reporting in the studio, Victor Georges, KATC TV3.
Here's Rob's 24-hour forecast.
Well, chilling out across Acadiana. Temperatures not dropping too quickly yet, but the winds are beginning to die down, so temperatures should drop more smartly. 50 degrees right now, that dew point at 30, so dry atmosphere. Things are going to be cooling off. Temperatures upper 40s to lower 50s. Oakdale always comes in much colder, mid 40s there, and we're heading for the mid to upper 30s, northern portions of Acadiana. Maybe some frost. A tough call right here. Generally fair skies and with lighter northeast winds. It does look like some areas may see some patchy frost by morning, especially up towards central Louisiana. Northernmost portions of Acadiana. We'll detail those overnight lows coming up in just a bit. In Lafayette, right around 40 degrees tomorrow morning, upper 30s to near 40. And then tomorrow afternoon, mostly sunny skies with temperatures topping out in the middle 60s. Should be a very nice day. Here's the 24-hour forecast. Wall-to-wall sunshine tomorrow. Some clouds, though, late in the day. 65, your projected high after a chilly start. Milder weather on the way as we head into the big Easter weekend. More on that in the complete True View forecast coming up in just a bit.
In tonight's rebound, the Cajun Heartland State Fair is returning at the end of May. It's the first big event to return since the start of the pandemic. Cajun Dome officials announced this morning the fair is scheduled for May 27th through June 6th. State Fire Marshal and Louisiana Department of Health officials approved an open safely plan. Masks will be worn by all guests and highly touched areas will be sanitized throughout the day.
It's going to look a lot like you've seen the fair in the past. There'll just be some additional protocols in place. So there'll be more hand sanitizer stations throughout the fairgrounds. You'll see markings on the floors while you're waiting in line, whether that's for rides or concessions.
Also on the rebound, a federal program will help Lafayette Parish residents make ends meet. More than $7 million in federal funding is earmarked to help low and moderate income families who are struggling to pay their rent and utilities. Now that money will go to landlords and utility companies. For more information and instructions on how to apply, we have that at katc.com/rebound.
Parish by Parish headlines. We start in Vermilion, where the school board is going back to the drawing board on its plan to distribute boxed meals to students. This after long waits and a site closure this afternoon. KATC learned the distribution site at Cecil Picard Elementary was shut down by Maurice Police because of a pickup line fiasco. Superintendent Tommy Byler says there was an extreme increase in people signing up late. The site was reopened a short time later. New information out of St. Landry Parish. The school board there is planning to close Highland Elementary in Eunice. A public hearing was held tonight to discuss the issue. The plan is to convert Highlands building into an early learning center. Highland students will now be sent to East, Eunice, and Glendale elementary schools.
They recognize and embrace the idea that the earlier we get our students in school, the better. So that was the reason for the change. It's a positive change. The community is happy. The school system is happy.
In Acadia Parish, 2 more men are now accused of committing crimes while they were Crowley police officers. One was booked into jail yesterday. The other was ticketed on Monday. KATC Investigates uncovered Casey Morgan is facing 2 charges: accessory after the fact to second-degree battery and also malfeasance in office. We've also learned he was employed by the Doosan Police Department when he was arrested. He's since been fired. Now the second man, Dwayne Schecksnyder, was ticketed for disturbing the peace and battery of a police officer. We did reach out to Crowley Police to ask about his employment status, but so far we haven't heard back.
And this all comes on the heels of the arrest and indictment of Crowley Police Chief Jimmy Broussard. He's facing 4 counts of malfeasance in office and 1 count each of obstruction of justice and attempted first-degree injuring of public records. All 6 charges are felonies.
Church's Chicken in Scott is closed for cleaning after a fire. It happened this morning at around 7 at the location on St. Mary Street. Firefighters say there was a grease fire in the kitchen. No injuries were reported. Meanwhile, a cigarette is to blame for an apartment fire in Scott. It happened at the Lafayette Garden Apartments on Provost Street. Chief Chad Saunier says firefighters were quickly able to get that fire under control. Impacted residents have been relocated until repairs can be made.
Drivers in downtown Lafayette may experience heavier than normal traffic tomorrow because of a planned prayer parade. The event is being hosted by Iglesia Nuevo Comienzo, a Spanish-speaking church located on Cameron Street. The parade will cover several areas as pastors drive to observe the Stations of the Cross. It all gets started at 10 o'clock with the closing ceremony at Park International at 3:15. We have a full schedule and map on our website.
Festival International is going virtual once again this year, but the celebration will be held all month long. And part of that celebration is Feastival. It's a partnership between Festival and local restaurants in Acadiana. All month long, downtown Lafayette restaurants will be featuring Festival favorites to satisfy your taste buds, but to also help out Festival.
As we know, Festival International, it's a very important component to Lafayette and its economy. It drives in a lot of tax dollars, and it's just a festival that everybody loves here. So the business owners are helping in other ways, but as restaurants, we decide, the festival came up with the idea of Feastival, which each restaurant would create a dish, and $1 for each dish would go towards helping Festival stay alive.
It's also a park contest. Here's how it works. Participating restaurants will have punch cards for you. When you order their festival special, you'll get the cashier's initials added to the back of your card, and then you'll keep the receipt. By May 4th, you can mail in your card, the receipts, and your name, email, and phone number to the address that you see there on your screen. The contest runs through the end of the month, and you can see all of these details and a list of the restaurants that are taking part over at KATC.com.
Coming up, an area restaurant is getting ready for a busy Easter Sunday. A look at the prep work coming up at 10:19.
But first, Rob's full forecast for the long holiday weekend. It's coming up next right here on Acadiana's News Channel at 10.
Forecast. Here's KATC Chief Meteorologist Rob Perillo.
Welcome back. Well, it's going to be a chilly night. Hard to believe it's April, and we're still talking mid to upper 30s in spots. Perhaps the threat of some patchy frost. We still have it in the forecast, although temperatures not dropping too quickly right now. They'll drop more. They'll accelerate in their drop as we get deeper into the nighttime hours as winds begin to die down. So let's take a look at the big picture across the U.S. You can see a big ridge of high pressure dominating from the Great Lakes to the Gulf South. It's just a little unsettled on the edges in the southwest, the northwest, and then in the northeast. You can see the cold air pouring down to the south. Still snow showers at this hour into the mountains of eastern Tennessee and western North Carolina, so you know it's a cold air mass, and that cold air mass has been moving in here as well. Again, winds were quite strong over the last 24 hours, but they're beginning to settle down, and with a dry atmosphere, clear skies, we're going to see what we call some radiational cooling, and that could allow for some frost to develop. And here are the frost advisories for our friends mainly on the other side of the Chafalaya Swamp, and then off to the east as we get over toward Mobile, even the Florida Panhandle. Now, locally, we could see some patchy frost, especially St. Landry, Evangeline, and Allen parishes and the northern part of those parishes. Always got to remember here, you got the Mississippi River Valley. It's kind of low, so cold air tends to drain down here, though. That's why Baton Rouge is usually colder than us in the wintertime. But some of that colder air leaks around the Atchafalaya Swamp and comes in through eastern Louisiana, and then comes in through St. Landry and portions of Evangeline Parish. So again, although not in the frost advisory, patchy frost remains in the forecast locally, not only from here at KATC, but also coming from the National Weather Service as well. So nice and chilly overnight tonight. You might need the heat, but just throw on an extra blanket. It's going to warm up quickly tomorrow with lots of sunshine. Temperatures in Lafayette around 40 and then mid-60s tomorrow afternoon. Not much cloud cover at all for tomorrow. A few high clouds coming in for Saturday. A chilly start closer to the low to mid-40s, and then Saturday afternoon upper 60s to lower 70s depending on the cloud cover. And then as we advance towards Sunday, it's going to be a little cool for Easter sunrise services. Temperatures in the lower 50s, but warming up into the low to mid 70s for your Easter afternoon. Fair bit of clouds though for Easter Sunday as well. Temperatures tonight mid to upper 30s. We're going to say frost possible, probably a 50-50 proposition, especially from Bunkie on northward. That's the coldest spots across Acadiana. Those northern parishes, the northern part of the northern parishes. Frost not likely for the most part across the I-10 corridor. We'll say not as likely, but again, protect them tomato plants. You don't want to see those tomatoes go, but at least it's early in the season. And then frost unlikely as we get down across the coastal parishes, lower 40s the call there. So after that chilly start, warming up into the mid 60s tomorrow. Tomorrow night will favor low to mid 40s, and then as we head into Saturday, the graph model getting aggressive on us, getting us into the 70s, but we'll probably see upper 60s to lower 70s for sure. And then going into Sunday night, Saturday night, Sunday morning, we see those temperatures in the mid 50s, low to mid 50s, and then in the low to mid 70s for your Easter Sunday. So crystal clear skies, some patchy frost, mainly northern portions of northern parishes. The rest of us should be okay, but we'll keep an eye on things. 65 the high tomorrow, fine finish to the week and start to the weekend for sure, and great looking weather into the weekend overall. Fair skies Saturday, some clouds on Sunday, and fair to partly cloudy going into next week with temperatures getting back to near 80s for highs. Jim?
Okay, thanks, Rob. Still ahead tonight, some restaurants are getting ready for a brunch rush this weekend. Tonight's Spirit of Acadiana is coming up right after this.
Brunch is a tradition for so many, but make that Easter Sunday brunch and things get a little extra special. Scott Brazda visits with one Breaux Bridge restaurateur in tonight's Spirit of Acadiana.
So Sunday morning, 9:47, wait staff will come through this door, much better than I did. It'll be full of food, and welcome to Cafe Sidney May for Easter brunch.
Sunday mornings in Breaux Bridge, and Cafe Sidney May opens for brunch.
Which starts, by the way, at 9:47 sharp.
Because 9:47 is about when 9 o'clock Mass ends at St. Bernard Church across the street. So at Cafe Sidney May, named after an amazing legislator, there's Sunday brunch.
Grown bigger than we'd ever thought.
But then we talk Sunday brunch on Easter, a time of renewal and rebirth, especially after a rough 12 months or so.
Everything's finally starting to become new again. And it's a day we get to heal and be thankful for everything we have. It's Easter 2021 is a very special day for us.
The Easter brunch work began over a week ago, and David Puckett's staff will have the place ready to go, even with seating still not at full capacity. And there will be specials, entrees, desserts.
Well, if you like crawfish stuffed lamb chops. We also have this wild and crazy chocolate souffle, homemade white chocolate sauce, homemade frozen custard. So there is a theme here, homemade.
They'll be open from 9:47 to 2 p.m., but rest assured, you won't be forced out if you're still eating at 2 p.m.
My wife and I work really hard, we work really hard to make sure that when you walk out the door that you have a great Easter Sunday brunch experience with us at any time you're with us.
In the meantime, there's Easter brunch this Sunday, although there may be one small problem.
Easter brunch is that I hope you made a reservation already because it's going to be a great day.
So, Sunday brunch here at Cafe Sidney May, and one more fun fact. Guess who's playing the piano? Guess who's providing entertainment? The legendary political analyst himself, Pearson Cross. Who'd have thunk it? Happy Easter to everyone. Enjoy your Easter brunch. Scott Brasda in Brobridge, KATC TV3.
And still ahead tonight on KATC, the St. Martinville Kiwanis Club is ready to host events again this year. Which events are returning coming up after the break. And as we head to break, everybody, a big day for crawfish tomorrow. Here's a look at what you can expect to pay at certain restaurants in Lafayette in tonight's Crawdad Index. Swarms of honeybees across Acadiana, but local beekeepers say there's nothing to be alarmed about. When seen in swarms around this time, bees are often relocating to a new hive to get ready to repollinate and reproduce. For the most part, they are harmless. A beekeeper tells us it's best to stay away and contact a professional to have the hive safely relocated.
And they are a valuable resource, especially this time of year to beekeepers. It's expensive for beekeepers to buy new bees, and if they can come to your house and remove a swarm of bees, they have a good chance that they'll make a new hive with it, and they can provide a service to you and get useful something for themselves.
The St. Martinville Kiwanis Club is ready to bring back their events to Acadiana for 2021. Last month, the club announced the return of the Hangin' on the Bayou Car Show. That event is scheduled for late August. The return of the annual Pepper Festival is scheduled for early September. Organizers say preparations are now being made for those events to return successfully.
You know, whether it's getting people to come in from out of state, you want to make sure we touch bases with everyone, and we want to welcome people into our town. We want to make sure that the grounds are well kept and the food is there and you have everything ready for it to go on that day.
And still to come on KATC, Raging Cajuns baseball on the road tonight. Andrew Clay has more in sports coming up next.
Time for sports with KATC Sports Director Andrew Clay.
Earlier this week, Baseball America put out its NCAA tournament field projections, slotting the Raging Cajuns in the Starkville region with Louisiana Tech, Tennessee, among others. No LSU in this early projection region, which actually sent the Tigers to Texas. Now, Louisiana on the road tonight at ULM. They've won 28 of the last 29 meetings. Cajuns jumped out to a 5-0 lead, and that was plenty of cushion for Captain K. That's a working nickname anyways. That's Spencer Arrighetti. He punched out 7 tonight, allowed just 4 hits in the 7th, 2 outs. It's Bobby Leday doubling. Cajuns go up 6-0. They led 9-2 heading into the 9th before ULM clapped back for 3. Cajuns, though, still winning 9-5. The stat of the game, Carson Rocafort setting a school record with 5 stolen bases. The Cajuns collecting 13 hits tonight, supporting Arrighetti, whose ERA dropped to .9 after the victory. While LSU hosting number 2 Vanderbilt, Kamar Rocker came as advertised. First man he faces, Trey Morgan. He sits him down swinging. Rocker, 8 strikeouts, 6 innings pitched. He allowed just 1 run tonight. Vandy up 1 in the 5th. Jason Gonzalez, who drove in that first run in the 3rd, he added 1 here. The Commodores would score 4 in the inning to take a 5-0 lead. Vandy with 4 more than in the 6th. Dominic Keegan with bases loaded. This is a double. Vanderbilt opened up a 9-1 lead. They win big tonight, 13-1. Rayne baseball has won 5 of 6 at North Vermilion this afternoon. Scoreless game here in the 2nd. Dale Martin puts one down the line. He's going to hustle in for a double, only to score later in the inning on an interference call. Bottom 3, Patriots loading up the bases. Jordan Blanchard going back up the middle, but Will Arsenault flexing the range just on the outfield grass. He'll end the inning. Patriots hang on the win, though, by a score of 4-3. Well, with one swing of the bat, Notre Dame softball breaks the national home run record. Abigail Savoie hitting the Pios' 83rd home run of the season. That breaks a record set by a Texas school back in 2017. The Pios have been on a tear. They hit 7 home runs last night. Corinne Poncho hit the tying number 82 earlier in the day before Savoie broke the record in the team's 14-0 win over Erath. Savoie and the rest of the Pios enjoying the surreal moment after the game.
I mean, obviously in the dugout before my at-bat, I'm thinking about it. Obviously, I know in my head that 1 more is what we need, but once I get into the box, I just try to relax and know that my body knows how to swing and just trust it and find a good pitch to hit.
But it was an exciting day. They broke a record, but they reached a goal that they had set at the beginning of the year, so I'm super excited for it, and I know they're excited.
Very cool.